12-year-old girl in Boulder, Colorado recently got arrested because she attempted to poison her mother on 2 different occasions. Now, according to reports, she initially tried to poison her by putting bleach in her smoothie. The mother apparently drank the smoothie and noticed that there was something different about it. In fact, she said that she thought, well, maybe my girl or my daughter just didn't wash the cup appropriately, and there's a little bit of bleach, not a big deal. Second time, the girl actually put bleach into the pitcher of water that her mother drinks from. So what gives? Why would a 12-year-old girl try to poison her own mother? Well, it turns out that her mom tried to discipline her by taking her iPhone away, and this was her way of retaliating against her. Now, the girl is going to face, or is facing, 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder. So she's going to deal with some serious consequences. According to police officials, she had, quote, pre-planned this a couple of different times. I want to know what you guys think about this. Robbie, let me start with you. Make your point.
Wow, okay, she's 12, right? Oh my God. Okay, couple of things. One, attempted first-degree murder when you're 12, like that's almost like impressive. That's like wow, you're gonna live with that.
Admirable.
Like,
admirable.
But I mean, like, you will never have to intimidate anyone ever again. I'll be like, I tried to kill my mom when I was 12. Like, you will always be able to have that under your belt. But like, I'm not saying this is a good thing.
Of course.
But second thing, why do 12-year-olds have iPhones? Why do they need iPhones?
Yes,
like,
thank
you know,
you.
I'm gonna
Thank
sound like
you.
such an old
Yes.
person right now, but like,
Yes.
what do you possibly need to do as a 12-year-old? You need to like call your friends and make a point. No, your mom's doing that for you.
So
right?
Hank is itching to make his point. I'm very curious. You seem to be agreeing with Robbie here.
That's the point. I was like, she deserves a beatdown for trying to poison her mother, and the mother deserves a beatdown for giving her an iPhone. I mean, I think this is a very classic case of spoiling a child. I mean, I think the mother has just as much to blame because a 12-year-old? You know, where does she get the sense of entitlement?
There are some reasons, or good reasons, why parents would want to give their kid a phone. It doesn't have to be a smartphone. I think giving a teenager or a prepubescent individual a phone for emergency reasons makes sense. But in this case, I mean, I think we rely way too much on giving kids technology to distract them, and a lot of parents do it because they don't want to parent. It's an easy way to give a kid an iPhone or an iPad and not have to deal with, you know, having to actually interact with them. And I understand why that happens. People are busy, life is tough, parenting is difficult. But nonetheless, in this case, I mean, the idea of a 12-year-old thinking that it's okay to kill her own mother over this technology is absolutely ludicrous, and it shows you just how addicted a lot of us are to this type of technology. Now, here's a personal question that I have for this story. How will you discipline your kids differently from how you were disciplined? I'm going to start off with you, Hank.
Yeah, well, first of all, I was going to say my kids are going to get a flip phone from Boost Mobile or Metro PCS. That's all they need, okay? And then, like, the second thing is, you know, my kids, similar to the way that my parents brought me up, they will be threatened by violence because they just have to have that hanging over their head. Because if it's not there, if there isn't the possibility that they're going to get a beat down, they're going to be bad. I'm not saying that I might follow through every single time, but it has to be there. You know, the way that I would temper the discipline that my parents enacted on me is I would make sure that A, everything they got they deserved, and B, they would know that ultimately they were loved, and there isn't like this, and they would be rewarded for doing the good things too. I mean, the one thing that sticks out for me is when I was in school, you know, like my classmates would be like, oh my God, I got a B, my dad's gonna buy me the VHS Free Willy, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna get a lecture about how I'm ashamed to the dynasty for getting a B. So there was definitely disconnect, cultural disconnect.
Totally relate to you in that regard because of my Armenian upbringing.
That's right.
Robbie, what about you?
First of all, the violence thing I think is really funny. Yeah, I just maybe
it
hang
works.
a sword above my kid's bed, like a Damocles sword, and just like, just so you know. But
Carrot or stick? That's the real question.
Carrot or stick.
Here.
Carrot or stick. My parents actually, I think, did a really good job disciplining me. They weren't too harsh. They weren't too soft. I think they were very reasonable. And that's kind of why, like, I would just want to have more fun than they did disciplining my kid. I would want to like screw with my kid a little bit, and in a really theatrical way. So like, say like they're stealing a cookie out of the cookie jar. If we still have cookie jars, then you know, I would want the kid to kind of like reach in, and then for my voice to project out of a recording, just be like, "Step away from the cookie," and it would like scream at my kid.
So you want to be a fun parent.
I want to be a fun parent.
And live stream.
I want to give my kid lots of
stream
stories and slight trauma. and they'll be a great comedian one day.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm thinking about the way that my mom raised me, and like my dad disciplined me sort of, but it was really my mom that did the bulk of the work, and she was tough. I mean, I've talked about her quite a bit on The Point, and I want to be just like her because she used the same tactics that you just mentioned right now. Like my mom was not afraid to use corporal punishment.
Right.
Now she did it in a responsible way. She didn't beat me down, right? But I did grow up fearing her, and I think that fear kind of led me on the straight and narrow. But another thing that I plan on doing differently is, look, I grew up with modest means. Like my family was working class, and they eventually worked their way up to solid middle class. And so I know that I'm likely to be in the middle class and I can afford nice things for my kids when I have them, but I'm going to go out of my way to make them think that they're poor. That way they'll have the same work ethic that I did when I was growing up. So that's the plan.
What, Lexus? What are you talking about?
I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, but I want to know what you guys think. How do you plan on raising your children differently from the way you were raised, or disciplining them differently from how you were disciplined? We want to hear from you, so comment in the section below, and we'll see you soon.